where you were last year, December 31st, 2019, New Year's Eve. And if you're like me, it's a little melancholy to think another year's over, but all of the hope and hope that we had for the new year. Well, I don't think anybody would have ever, in your wildest dreams, thought what 2020 would have to bring to us. 2020 has been like the cantina scene from Star Wars in terms of COVID-19, racial injustice, the hate mongering going on in the political world. So this is not exactly a profound statement, but what might surprise you is how your employees are looking to you for leadership and the importance that the benefits that you offer play in their lives. Prudential does a lot of studies, and what is surprising to me is that there is a double-digit increase in the way employees feel about their employee benefit programs, up 10% from a year ago, of how they overwhelmingly feel that it makes up a key part of their compensation. I think gone are the days when employees take for granted the health insurance benefits that are offered by the employers. And a lot of them, 73% feel that their benefits program is a big reason why they would stay with their jobs. So what are the big boys doing in terms of corporate response to COVID-19? And this is just in terms of thinking outside the box, changes to personal time off, vacation, sick days, increasing carryover limits for vacation days, promoting nutrition and weight management for at-home employees, doing financial wellness seminars. And again, this is just a little bit different from employee benefits, but just in terms of thinking outside the box. For those employees of school-age children right now, what do they do when they can't go back to work because they have to be home with their children as they're doing virtual learning? So flexibility hours, that type of thing, very important. So the health insurers have done quite a bit in terms of their response to COVID-19. And these are the major carriers that we deal with, Aetna, AvMed, Cigna, Florida Blue, and United Healthcare. In general, what they have all done is they have stopped, for the most part. Insurance companies are very infamous for you don't pay your bill and all this, and your benefits are just cut off. So they've given a little bit more grace period in terms of delinquency processing. In order, there's rules that all insurance companies and you have with reduced hours. It's either 25 or 30 hours, the minimum that you have to, employees must work in order to be eligible for benefits. Well, they have been lenient in allowing employees with reduced hours to stay on the plan, and also waiving the waiting period for furloughed employees. You have waiting periods for new hires, typically first of the month following 60 or 30 days. Well, if you furlough an employee and they come back, they will waive those waiting periods and put them right back on the plan. Also, cost sharing for any COVID-19 diagnostic testing and related visit. That means when your employees go or to get a COVID-19 test, it shouldn't cost them anything. What Aetna's done, is they have they've actively reached out to a lot of their members that they deemed at risk for COVID-19 and talk them through ways that they might avoid it and care. They also, since Aetna owns CVS or the other way around, they have free delivery on CVS pharmacy prescriptions through the end of the year. Mental health counseling and employee assistance programs are something we're going to get into in much detail in a little bit. Florida Blue, they're one of our premier carriers down here in Florida. A lot of you guys have the Blues as your benefit, your health insurance. And they have a wellness initiative going on that we've been promoting with our employees, where if you watch just about a 10-minute wellness video, they'll send you a $300 gift card that you can use for any health-related expenses, like, prescriptions or co-pays. And anyone who's on the plan who is 18 or over and needed dependents are eligible for that gift card. Many of our employees have taken advantage of this and received their $300 gift cards. Telemedicine is going to be, they're waiving the cost share for telemedicine through the end of this year. They are the only carrier that I know of that did a buy down option where you could, that's over now, but they actually gave you the option of, if you couldn't afford your health insurance anymore, getting a lower premium plan, which is typically you can't do that until your anniversary. And they actually gave a 15% premium discount in the month of July. So they're doing a lot to help. Humana, they sent out masks to all of their members and care kits, including some guidance for health and safety. United Healthcare, again, what you see here is, the waiving of the cost sharing for COVID testing, and again, emotional support line to call and an on-demand emotional support app. Again, we're going to get more emotional support. Anxiety, depression has been a huge factor in everyone's lives, and all the carriers are trying to do what they can to facilitate care in that regard. What this means here, without getting too technical, is some of these changes that we talked about were really not allowed. If you have a 125 plan, what that means is you guys offer benefits, you're offering them tax-free. You're taking a tax deduction for the contribution on behalf of your employees. Your employees' premiums are being deducted on a tax-deductible basis. So in order to do that, you need to have either what's called a Section 125 plan in place. They're also called premium-only plans or cafeteria plans. Those plans have rules that dictate what you can and can't do throughout the year. For example, you can't just come off a plan if it's not open enrollment because an employee just doesn't want it anymore. That is a violation of the 125 plan. But because of what the carriers are doing and to give flexibility, the 125 plans have also changed and relaxed their rules in order to accommodate this. COBRA processing, COBRA is giving more than the original 30 days for an employee to elect and to pay premiums. So there's more flexibility there. All right, let's talk about telemedicine because that has increased by leaps and bounds as a result of COVID-19. Some doctors now, when you call your doctor and you'd like to go for a visit, initially they were only doing virtual visits. But telemedicine is more than that. What it is, and all of our carriers now offer telemedicine services. So what it is it's an app that you install on your phone, and we always encourage people do it ahead of time because you don't want to have to figure out how to do it when you're not feeling well. And when you don't feel well, you go on your app and you log in and you tell it, here's how I'm feeling. It asks, do you have COVID symptoms or not? And you put in your symptoms, and within about 5 to 10 minutes in normal time frame, about 5 or 10 minutes, a doctor will get back to you and they will ask you a lot of questions and diagnose you over the phone. Millennials love telemedicine because millennials are used to doing everything on their phone. Other people, a little bit in the older employees sometimes had a little reticence about using it because they want that more face-to-face feel with a doctor. And, it's not 100% replacement for going to see a doctor, but I've used it in situations where I knew I had a sinus infection. I felt horrible. I just didn't feel like driving to the doctor. So remember, when I had telemedicine, I placed the phone call, got diagnosed, and within 15 to 20 minutes, there was a prescription waiting for me down at my CVS pharmacy. So telemedicine is here to stay, and I think only going to play a bigger role in the future. Employee assistance programs, that was a common theme that you saw as the carriers are offering it. And when we do our open enrollment meetings with our clients, we always stress the employee assistance programs because you probably have one through one of your carriers, and then with everything that goes on, you sort of forget about it. But employee assistance programs are both online and telephonic, where there are wonderful resources online for very relevant topics, whether it be dealing with an older parent, child care, substance abuse, a lot of different resources. The big thing that they are doing now is they offer between 2 to 3 face-to-face appointments. Face-to-face could be virtual in this environment, with a licensed psychologist. So for those employees who are stressed out because of COVID or as a financial burden that this pandemic has placed upon them, I'm not embarrassed to tell you how I've used my employee assistance program as an example. I have a 90-year-old mother who is in an independent living facility, and during this pandemic, those elder people were hit very hard, and she was suffering from depression very badly. And I ran out of resources, at her facility, and was racking my brain, and it was starting to affect me, the worry and the constant concern. So remembering I had an employee assistance program, I made a call. Of course, the first thing they ask you is, are you suicidal? No, I am not. And then within about, 15 to 20 minutes, they had me on the phone with a psychologist who was in my area, making an appointment, and, made sure that they were in my network for my medical insurance so that if I wanted to continue to see her in the future, I could. And it was amazing how simple it was and how this little, program really helped me out when I needed it the most. So they're important, and they are really, really valuable to your employees. What are the ancillary carriers doing in general? Dental and vision, most of the carriers we deal with, Guardian, Principal, Mutual Omaha, they are not increasing their rates for at least a year. They're enhancing their employee assistance programs to provide additional mental health visits from 2 to 3 in some cases. And then there's this telemedicine for dental, which I, had a hard time, how do you use telemedicine for dental? But really it's, if you can't get an appointment with your dentist, if you have an emergency, they have this telemedicine app that you can use to help get an appointment with somebody else in your network and schedule an emergency visit. Guardian is one of our biggest ancillary carriers. They offered either a discount of 1 month's premium, or they offered a 2-year rate lock on your rates. So they guaranteed they would not increase your rates for 2 years. Depending upon the size of your group, you had a choice. And the other thing is short-term disability. Disability insurance is something you may offer on either a voluntary or employer-paid basis, and it's a very important benefit. Disability is the main cause by far of foreclosure in the United States. And so what they've done is they have enhanced their short-term disability plans to make sure employees quarantined due to COVID might be eligible for benefits, or if they're diagnosed with COVID and unable to work, that they will be eligible for benefits under short-term disability. Okay, so where is health insurance going after COVID-19? It's kind of maybe a little bit premature in terms of talking about how COVID-19 is affecting the health insurance industry. But one trend we've seen recently, and as we meet with our employers and they renew their insurance, is looking to add or move toward a high deductible or a health reimbursement plan for employees. Now, there's been some changes to the health reimbursement plans. You cannot, the most significant is that, you cannot in any circumstances reimburse or pay for individual insurance for your employees. And there is something, new guidance came out in 2020 that would allow you to do a special health reimbursement account by which you can reimburse your employees without being subject to fines, which could be $100 a day if you are, caught paying for your employees' individual insurance without having the correct plan in place to do so. So what we have here is a double-edged sword. You have, you as an employer are faced with perhaps economic a loss, challenges moving forward, and economically, and increased health insurance premiums, but yet you want to do the right thing by your employees. So what we have seen is, moving more towards the catastrophic when it comes to health insurance plans. 2021, the deductibles and out-of-pockets are going up to $8,550 for an individual and $17,100 for a family. Now, we're not here to suggest that you raise your deductibles to those amounts, but we are seeing plans that have out-of-pocket maximums that are moving towards, if not these numbers, then maybe the $5,000 to $6,000 range in order to keep premiums down. And the days of $0 to $500 deductibles, they seem to be going away as well, as employers move the deductibles up in order to try to mitigate the cost of the premium increase. Network options, each carrier has different layers of networks. So by making the network skinnier, you can reduce costs. And pharmacy restrictions. This is a big one because pharmacy costs add double digits to the cost of your insurance plan in terms of what they cost. And pharmaceuticals are extremely expensive. So there are plans that will pay for generic drugs and then put deductibles on the more expensive formulary drugs, rather than so that you'd have to meet not a plan deductible, but maybe a $250 to a $500 deductible before those more expensive drug copays kick in. So what can you do to help your employees without increasing your cost? Buy-up options. Many of you already do this, but you can offer more than one plan. So it's very common to offer a base plan that has a skinnier network and some skinnier options, higher deductibles, and maybe put some restrictions on pharmacy, because typically you have two audiences for your health insurance benefits. You have those who say, I just want the least expensive, the one that's going to cost me the least out of my paycheck. And then you have those, usually females, who want better benefits, they want those copays, and they want access to their prescription drugs, and they're willing to pay for the difference. So give them the option of having those more robust plans if they are willing to pay for it. The other thing is, some of these plans that have these higher deductibles, they have your commonly used services like your primary care doctor and your specialist and access to generic drugs, where you can have access to copays for those benefits without having to meet those higher deductibles. Work site benefits is synonymous with Aflac, but there are other carriers out there that do a good job in that market, like Colonial and Allstate. They are employee paid in most cases, where the employees would pay for whatever benefits they choose. They have hospital benefits that can cover these higher deductibles and out-of-pocket exposure, and they don't cost as much maybe as buying up to a more expensive plan. Then there's accident, and there's cancer plans and critical illness. And the nice thing is it's tailored to each individual employee's needs. They have enrollers that go out and sit with your employees and talk to them about these benefits and can tailor it to their paycheck to show them this is how much the impact would be on your paycheck if you chose these plans. So they're becoming more and more popular in this era of the pandemic. So a few takeaways that we'd like to really stress is telemedicine. Do you have it? Are you offering it? Do your employees know about it? And if you don't have it, how can you start offering it? Employee assistance programs. Make sure that if you have one, you're really promoting it to your employees, and flexible benefits when it comes to perhaps offering some more than one health insurance plan, and looking into the worksite AFLAC type of benefits. So I'll let Angelo close, and certainly we're here to have any questions, but your employees are your most valuable asset. We know you guys know that, and it's our job to help you help them, give them the most beneficial benefits package that will meet their needs in conjunction with meeting your needs as the employer. That's what we're here to do, and that's what we look forward to doing with you between now, the end of the year, and in the years to come. So thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions. And Angelo, I don't know if you would like to close with any other remarks.
No, just thank you, Linda, for your presentation. Sorry about the mix-up on the start, but obviously we're available for questions if we can explain this in more detail. But frankly, we're out of time, and I thank you, Linda, for your presentation. And Brandon, back to you.
All right.